Hi everybody, this is Idara. I'm making this video pretty much to update you on what's been going on with me for the last couple weeks. So I had my gastric bypass on July 12th. Um, I had a lot of complications with my surgery. Okay, so let's just say that first of all. So this is pretty much a video about the complications I've had since I've had my gastric bypass. Um, I've been in and out of the hospital twice since I've had my surgery. I've been in and out of the emergency room like three to four times. Um, right after I had my surgery on Monday. I went home on Tuesday. On Thursday, I started having like a lot of abdominal pain, so I talked to my doctor, and um, he told me I was probably having an allergic reaction to the tape because I had like a lot of redness and swelling in my abdomen, and so he told me to start taking Benadryl. So I took Benadryl. Some of the redness went away, but I was still having like a lot of swelling and pain, especially around my bottom incision, the one right above my belly button. Friday, I talked to him again, and he told me, well, if it gets worse, take another Benadryl, and if it gets worse, then you can always go to the emergency room. It was really, really hot that weekend, so on Saturday, I went to the movies just to try to get in some air conditioning. Right after I like saw my first movie, I was walking out, and I pretty much felt like I was gonna pass out. So I went to the emergency room, and when I went, they were like, "Oh, well, your doctor already told you that you're having an allergic reaction. Put some hydrocortisone cream on your stomach." But by this time, like also when I was at the movies, I like turned and realized that I was bumping people with my stomach like I was when I was pregnant. So and then I was like, "Dang, I couldn't zip my pants." But I was just thinking like my stomach was really sore. But when I like looked in like their big mirrors in the bathroom, I was like, "Dude, my stomach's like really, really big." So I went to the emergency room that day. I was treated for dehydration. And I was telling him, like, look at my stomach. I mean, like, yeah, I'm fat, but I'm not this fat. And the doctor was just being a smart aleck. He was like, you're not going to lose weight overnight because you had gastric bypass. I was like, yeah, I know, but I'm not this big usually. But he just told me to put some hydrocortisone cream on my stomach. And then the next day, I was laying there. My stomach kept hurting more and more. It kept getting more and more swollen. So pretty much when I had my surgery, I was like a size 20. Um, I had to find some of my old clothes from pre dieting to prep for my surgery that were like 24s, and they were like skin tight on me. I swear I was about to go find my maternity pants again. Um, so I went back to the doctor's on Sunday because I told my daughter, "What's wrong? Mommy's tummy hurts really bad," and she's like, "Mommy, you're leaking stuff." So I looked down and there's like this white fluid coming out of my stomach that looked like soy milk. And it's like my bottom incision had busted open and like this stuff was coming out of it. So I put like a band-aid on it and I went to the emergency room. And then when I was waiting in the waiting room, it started pouring out more and I could literally feel my incision like ripping open. And and I was like, go tell them I need gauze. So then I had like gauze and they were like putting like 8 gauzes at a time on my stomach. When the doctor saw me, he was like, "Oh, well," it was the same doctor who had told me the day before that I needed hydrocortisone cream. I was like, "Yeah, I told you there was something wrong with my stomach." And he was like, "Oh, well, that doesn't look like pus because it's really runny. Pus is usually thick. Let me call the surgeon on call." And so the surgeon on call is like, "Oh, that sounds like a chyle leak." And he's like, "Oh, it sounds like a chyle leak. Call your surgeon tomorrow." And I was like, "Okay, but you're gonna send me home like this? Like, what's chyle?" And he's like, "Oh, it's the fluid from your lymph nodes." And he just gave me some gauze and sent me home. And so the next morning I called my surgeon and they told me he was in surgery all day. And so he couldn't see me that day. They made me an appointment for Tuesday. And I was like really shocked because I'm like, okay, I'm leaking this stuff out of my stomach. Like all night I had to use towels to collect it, like hand towels. And by the middle of Monday, I was up to bath towels. So like the whole reason my stomach was so big, the reason I looked like I was like 7, 8 months pregnant was like my whole stomach was like full of this fluid, and it was like pouring out of my stomach. And so like every day I had to go back to the emergency room because I felt like I was gonna pass out because obviously being just a week post op, I was putting like an ounce of fluid in my mouth every 15 minutes, and I was pouring out like over a cup of fluid from my stomach every hour. So like it it wasn't I was pouring out like 2 to 3 times more fluid than I was able to put in. So Monday night I went back to the emergency room because the fluid had like really increased as far as the rate of which it was coming out of my stomach. They hooked me up to an IV, and they were just like, you have an appointment with your doctor tomorrow. Come back and see your doctor. And then so I went back to see my doctor. My doctor was like, well, I don't know what it is. Let's put you in the hospital. So they hospitalized me, and then they tracked how much fluid was draining. My doctor was like, oh, that's a lot of fluid, and he decided to go in and do surgery. So he reopened all my incisions and did an exploratory surgery. He couldn't find anything leaking. He checked all of the like my stomach, my intestines, my pouch. Nothing was leaking, but they never tested the fluid. They sent me home after 3 days, and then the next day I called them and I was like, my stomach's swelling. Oh, they put a drain in. So like right now, I had my surgery like a little over 3 weeks ago. I still have my drain. Okay, and um, so then I went home, and by this is like the 23rd or something. And I called him back the next day. I was like, you guys are not treating me for a chyle leak, because I did research on the computer, and there's like an actual treatment that I'm supposed to go through, and I'm actually losing like a lot of nutrients right now. And so I talked to a different doctor, and that doctor was like, oh yeah, let me readmit you to the hospital. So they readmitted me again on the 25th, and I just got out like 2 days ago. So I've been in the hospital for like the last 9, 10 days. Pretty much the way they're treating me for a chyle leak is I have a PICC line in now. So the line goes through here, up my arm, around here, right to the top of my heart. And I eat, I have to get all my food by IV. I can't have anything in my intestines because I'm leaking chyle. When they did my surgery, they did the gastric bypass. I also had a hiatal hernia. When they repaired the hernia, um, they cut one of my lymph nodes. They can't find which one they cut, so we're trying to let it heal on its own. So we're trying to like starve it out. Um, they sent me home with IVs. I'm gonna be eating by IV for the next 6 weeks. Here's one of my bags. This is my bag from earlier. So this is like I've already finished it, but pretty much this is like my food. I'm on 2,000 calories a day because they said I need a lot of calories to heal. So I don't know if you guys can see this. There's not much in here, but like the drain, it's like it looks cloudy. It's like that's the fat. So if I eat anything that has fat in it, it like pours out of my side. And I just started eating by the TPN last Wednesday. So um, from the 12th up until like last week, I wasn't getting like any nutrients at all. So they had to treat me for like malnourishment, like protein, malnutrition, like all these different things. Like all of my and my lab was really good before I had my surgery, but I'm like deficient in like so many things now. Um, but pretty much that's been my experience. So I just want to like update you guys, let you know what's going on with me. Oh, and I I ended up gaining 9 pounds. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna be like the only person who's ever had gastric bypass and gained 9 pounds in the first week. I was like not a happy camper. But since they started me on the food, I guess my body's not trying to store everything. So I've actually lost 11 pounds from my starting weight as of surgery day. I went down a pant size. So today I put on a pair of pants that I had bought because they were on sale and they were cute, and I do that. Like I have a whole wardrobe for when I'm little already because I always see things, and I still think that I'm the size I was before I had my kid. And so I always buy clothes that are like way too little. So I have like a whole wardrobe of clothes that are like way too little. But I just want to let you guys know what's going on. I hope everybody out there is doing good. If people want to know possible complications, this is a good video to watch. And it is a really rare complication. None of the doctors have ever had a chyle leak. It's never happened before. It's really rare. It only happens in like one out of every 200,000 major abdominal surgeries. So it's not like something that people are going to run into a lot, but it happened to me. Um, Anyways, I'll keep you guys posted. You guys have a good day.